Okay, well, welcome everybody. This is a special interview that I'm doing. I am your host, BC. This is a very special interview for me because, Arash is somebody who I've been studying for a couple years now, and a lot of the videos that I make on YouTube and on Facebook, I always drop his name because you always give credit where credit is due, and a lot of his information and philosophies I use in my life, and it has led me to the success that I have today. And you guys watching me, a lot of you have been asking for me to either reveal Arash or tell you more about him. So I asked him, and of course he agreed to do an interview today. That way you guys can hear about Arash, his story, what he does, and you can hear it directly from the source himself. So Arash, my friend, brother, welcome to this special interview that I'm excited to do.
Thank you, brother. It's an honor to be interviewed by you because, I have watched from you being a professional basketball player to being a professional real estate, and in such a short time becoming such a huge asset to so many people, and the success that you continue to have. And now we share an audience, which is amazing. Like we've talked about it. I come across people, I was telling you, that then see your picture on my Facebook or something. They say, oh, Bryan Casella. I'm like, yeah, good friends and colleagues and, stuff like that. And say, oh, I watch his stuff all the time. And then you told me that it was a similar thing. So it's just so cool to see that, and to give you a lot of credit, because you do give credit. And there are many people. I've been teaching for a very long time. And I could count the number of people probably on two fingers that give credit where credit is due. And I really think I thank you for that, because it's not the case. A lot of people actually hide me. They tell me, they say, you're my secret. I'm not sharing you with others. I'm like, okay, and I try to block them right after that because it's stupid. I'm not to be hidden. I'm supposed to be shared. So thank you for this opportunity to meet your audience. Here I am.
Yeah, it's an honor, man. It's an honor on my side as well. So obviously, the audience, I know a few people who follow me know about you, but the majority don't. So the first question I wanted to ask you is for anybody watching who is seeing you for the first time, who is Arash Dibazar?
Oh my God. I think I wrote a sentence a while back, and it's going to sound so mythical, but that's how I am. That's how I see myself. It's kind of how the world sees me. I said, every couple of thousand years, an individual arrives on this planet and changes the course of the culture and where it's going. Arash Dibazar is that individual in our time. So I'm that guy. I have accomplishments in different fields that I think people will be interested in. I'm an accomplished martial artist in many areas. I'm an accomplished entrepreneur. I own 5 businesses. In the field of relationships, I'm up there #1 in the world for a while. And in the field of communication and the mind, that's really what I shine too. So Arash is the guy who does that and has a passion for life and success, and until I die, this is what I'm doing, and I love it. I love every second of it, and I learn. I'm still a student. I think that should be a big part of who I am. And I can't mention my success without also mentioning Manu Tupo, my teacher, my mentor, my original teacher, who really opened my eyes to the world. And all respect to all my other teachers, such as Master Ernie Reyes and Mystery and Matador and Batata, my jiu-jitsu coach. And I may be missing a few here, but those men have helped build Arash Dibazar, and plus a lot of my friends.
Awesome, man. So one question I wanted to ask you, and this will enlighten the audience, I believe, to a very, very deep extent, is I wanted to ask you, why do you do what you do? I know that, you're very accomplished in all the fields that you're a part of, and I've witnessed it, and I've seen growth in you too, tremendously in the last 3-4 years that I've been following you. But what moves you? What's the main reason that you do what you do? I think that would be a great question for the audience to hear.
Yeah, I think that when we are being ourselves and we're being natural, we want to grow. This is every tree. How weird it would be if we walked out and a tree was stunting its own growth, and you were able to speak to it, and you said, "What's going on with you?" And the tree was like, "Well, it's kind of tired, kind of bored, or I don't really want to grow too much because that tree next to me, it starts to feel bad." Like a tree grows. and birds, they get worms and they build nests, and tigers they hunt, and fish they swim, and insects they insect, whatever that is. And I think that we human beings, when we tap into our true who we are, we don't stop growing until we die. I was fortunate enough to come across a man named Manu Tupo, and he was the one that sparked that flame. I mean, the fire was there. He turned it into a thing, you know. And after that, there was no longer any apology for wanting to be who I am and do what I do. And I think that if we take human beings and we remove from them, instead of add, we remove from them all the garbage and all the shit that they've been given as ideals and philosophies from people who didn't know what they were saying and who were weak and who didn't have the right really to bring another human being down. Then we're left with a pure human that wants to grow. Otherwise, we wouldn't right now be in Mars, and our ancestors 3,000 years ago were sitting in the dirt. It means that we have the tendency to grow, and we have to overcome all these obstacles. So I just feel I am just that human nature. I don't think that's special about me. I think that is our nature, because I'm inspired by other people's growth. And there's so much around. It's just that for whatever reason, those reasons can be speculated. For whatever reason, the world has turned its attention on the opposite of these ideas. But for myself, you know, I came across a man for whatever reason, and he removed those blocks. And since then, it's just been a continuous growth. And I think it's going to be like that till the end.
Right. And wow, that was beautifully put. And I think just hearing that is really going to open up the eyes of the audience. You know, for example, just for everybody watching, I don't think I've ever said this on camera. I might have mentioned it to you. I was when I originally got into pickup, I found mystery online, of course. What's funny is somebody at my original real estate office said something about the Pickup Artist, the show on VH1. And I had like this memory of maybe seeing half of an episode or something when I was younger, but it didn't click. And then he mentioned, hey, you got to read the book, The Mystery Method, right? So I bought it. And right when I got the book, I started going on YouTube and I was looking at mystery. And then I saw one of your videos on the side, the suggested videos. So I was like, okay, I'm going to click on it. And right away, at that point, when I was beginning my real estate career, this was probably a couple months in, I said, okay, immediately I was drawn to the way you spoke. I said, okay, you're somebody who speaks passionately and who knows how to speak, right? And at the time, I was still building my communication skills along with pickup. So I said, you know what? I need to study this guy. And I believe that was the end of November of 2013. And you had that event in Hollywood. I literally bought the ticket like right then. I paused the video, bought it, and then I met you the next day.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. And from then, it's just been like, wow, you know, you've really opened up a lot in me. One point being, I get admired in the industry and online because, as I learned from you, I really don't give a shit now about what people think about me. Like, truly, you know, I know I used to say that back in the day, but now I'm really at a point where I just don't give a fuck.
What a freedom! What a freedom to have, right?
We go out, we go to the strip club, boom, I'm checking in on Facebook, and I have every realtor in the country saying, "How dare you do that?" But I'm like, motherfucker, I have more clients than you. That's how I do it. So you know, it's really cool, and I see nothing but growth being with you. And one thing definitely that you do for me is you inspire me. So I wanted to ask you, I know you've mentioned Manu and Mystery and some of these other guys. Who were some of your biggest inspirations while you were growing up and coming up in life?
Yes. First, in regards to the people that taught me, I forgot to mention my own dad, Mr. Dibazar, Hassan Dibazar. So he has had an enormous influence on me, if not the most. So respect and shout out to my father, who's 75 years old now. In regards to being inspired, I can name some key individuals, but I can also tell you that I'm inspired by my dog right now when I look at him. He's so strong. I have a pit bull here, and his face is so symmetrical, and he's so calm and courageous. So I find inspiration all over the place. But individuals who have definitely impacted me, of course, Bruce Lee, Miyamoto Musashi, swordsman, Jim Morrison, Tupac Shakur. Those are the musicians. Outside of my teachers inspired me the most. The Buddha. Lao Tzu. I mean, there's so many to name. You know what I mean? But I think I have created my identity, who I am, and I continue to create who I am by finding something that moves me. I read something, I see something, and it hits me. And then I look at that thing for a while, and I find out what it is about that thing that moved me. And at that moment, I embody it as much as I can. And then it becomes part of me. Last night I was watching a TV show, and there's a character called Hawkman. It's a Marvel character or DC character. And when I was young, I really liked the Hawkman because I was like a bird watcher. But then I started hating the Hawkman because I never even knew his fucking powers. And last night there was a scene, I paused it, and I immediately went on my phone and I went on YouTube and I looked for the origins of Hawkman and his powers. And I was so desperately wanting the storyline to be something that inspired me, and it fucking wasn't doing it. And so I went to the next one, and then I was so disappointed because for a moment I watched something on TV where it really hit me. That the character said something that really moved me. So I paused it and I started YouTube searching Hawkman, looking for another avenue of inspiration, looking for something else to add to my arsenal of skills or ideas. And there was nothing. There really was nothing. And it's been bothering me all day because I feel like there's still something there. I was definitely hit by an emotion that I want. So inspiration is everywhere, in nature, in music, in other people's success. I'm very inspired by watching other people succeed or see them take things to a higher level. I'm inspired by nice cars. Every time I go on your Instagram, I'm inspired. I'm inspired by production. Somebody produces more than me. It inspires me, you know, like anytime I'm looking and I see mankind really push the envelope and put something out there that moves me, then it makes me want to move others too. It's funny, but that's what it is, you know.
Awesome. Now, obviously, a lot of people that follow me as we shift gears are business people, right? They're in real estate, they're in sales. And I kind of wanted to, because obviously I know your background, you know, people don't know that you own multiple businesses and that you're actually having a lot of success. And I'll let you explain that to them, but you're top of the field in your category and, you know, a lot of these things. And in business, how many businesses do you own right now?
Right now, I have 5 right now. I have a beauty salon. Well, I have more than 5, but the ones that are actually making money. I have a beauty salon. I have a women's fitness center. I have a martial arts and fight center. I have a Seductive Instinct, which is like a relationship and dating advice center. And I have my own like Arash Dibazar. It's a separate company. So I took Seductive Instinct and I moved it, created its own brand out of it, which is my own name, arashdibazar.com. And that actually is now, it's eventually, that's going to take over Seductive Instinct. Seductive Instinct. Maybe, I don't know. So those are the 5. And you know, I have a makeup line that nobody knows about, which is just supreme. Like one day I'm going to launch a makeup line. It's everything. You have no idea, right? If you saw it, you would fucking trip. It is truly the best makeup on the planet. Like I'm not fucking around. I have everything professionally branded. It's done. It's been done for like 2 years. And the question is, why don't I push it? I have this vision of how I'm going to do it. And right now, if I did it, it would be half-assed. So it's sitting there. It's all done. But there will be a time where everybody will know I'll be in the makeup industry like this in a second. All I need is use my skills in pickup and seduction to meet some very, very high-level women as celebrities and befriend them at a high level, maybe even make them fall in love with me, have them use it. That's when you'll know I have a makeup brand. That's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting. That was the intention behind the brand. So I'm holding it, and I'm sure I'll get it as I work on my skills. So yeah, I got those 5 businesses right now. And a few more that not even worth mentioning until they make money.
Right. I hear you. That's awesome, man. And, you know, I remember when you shared with me kind of your beginnings in business, that was really inspiring to me. And I think that would be great for the audience to hear because, you know, we always hear about struggling and, you know, it taking a long time for you to get momentum and that kind of thing. Because that's something I shared on my YouTube when people really connected with me. And I was documenting my journey, you know, going door to door and making cold calls and the struggle I was going through and the realizations I was having. So I think if people were to hear your story, it would definitely be very informative and inspirational for them as well.
Yeah, I grew up doing the martial arts. So at 11 years old, I joined a martial arts dojo. By the time I was 13, I was the youngest person hired at the time to teach martial arts and get paid for it. Minimum wage was $3.25, I remember. And then I met Manu at around 17 or 18, moved to Hollywood, became an actor. Manu taught acting, but he changed my life. Then I came back to the martial arts, and I had to make a choice between acting and martial arts because I knew both I could do really well. But martial arts, I had a lot of students that I left behind, and my family was here, so I decided to come back here. I was teaching martial arts for my old master at the time, and no longer could I meet eye to eye with the ideals of the organization over there. Not with him. With him, highest level of respect always. But he had a huge organization, and when you have a big organization, there's a lot of jealousy and things like that. So systematically, they were trying to attack me and get rid of me. And one day, it worked, and I left, and they fired me like simultaneously. And I decided I wanted to open up my own martial arts academy. Thank God my dad was okay with it, you know, because I was 21 years old. This is now, I'm 40, so 19 years ago. April 4th coming up. It will be 19 years in business. And my dad, you know, I went to him. I said, this is what I want to do. I want to quit school. And he's like, okay. He got me a loan for $30,000 at the time. It took $15,000 to get a place and set it up. I had $15,000 left. And I opened up a place. At 21 years old, everybody's going to college at that time. It wasn't like, there was no internet. There was no like, fuck school. I've been saying it for a while. Long story short, I was broke. I was broke for 8.5 years. I was made fun of. I mean, I was a joke. They threw rocks on my windows. They put cereal on my windows. They put crazy glue on my door so I couldn't open it. Like, oh, I was under attack. I was a big joke. They had these long writings they had on me. It was ridiculous. And I just hung in there. And in the middle of the night, I would drive to go get a graveyard shift job at hotels that my friends stay at now. And I would grab all their applications, and then by 6 a.m. when I was driving home, I would throw it all away. And I repeated this many nights. Something told me, just hang in there and just keep doing it. For 8.5 years, I was broke, meaning my mother at was 25, 26 or whatever, even up to 30, my mother would give me $5 a day. She would put it in a box in my old room because I didn't live with them. I lived with girlfriends at the time. And every morning I'd go into that house, pick up $5, and sometimes she would put 10, and that would feed me through the day. And I lived with my girlfriend, so I didn't have to pay rent. And this was my life. This was my life. And then after about 8.5 years or so, without getting too deep into it, there was a moment. There was a moment when I saw how affected my father was. As he was writing a check for me, the month was ending at my gym, at my academy. And my check after 1 month was $178. And he looked at me and he said, don't pay a few of the bills. Take some money for yourself. I said, no, it's fine. He said, just take some money for yourself, son. You've been working for 8 years and you have no money. You're in debt. Like I was in debt like $35,000. And, or a little bit more. I said, it's fine. Just write me the check. And he wrote the check because he was an accountant, and I drove off. As I drove off, I forgot something. So I came back, and I opened the door to his business, which actually happens to be downstairs here. No. And he had his head on his desk, and I thought he was sleeping. I said, Dad. And he looked up, and he wiped his face. He was crying. I'd never seen my dad cry. And it hit me so hard. And I sat in front of him. I said, were you crying? And he couldn't talk. He just kind of shook his head. And he went, no. But you could hear his voice cracking. I looked at him. I remember I had my legs crossed. I said, Dad, I promised you one day that you're going to write a check that'll be more than anybody in the family ever made. I'll triple or quadruple anything you ever make. I said, I'll give you my word, Dad, right now. This is it. This is the last time you will ever write a check like that. I promise you on my life. And he just kind of looked at me. I left that office. Something shifted in me. Something shifted in me. Because at that moment, I knew for a fact I was going to be wealthy. There was just no doubt about it. And how I did it would be the story of books. You know what I mean? Like, that was it. I started studying. I started applying. I started just going crazy, going insane, really. And sure enough, month after month, it grew, it grew, it grew. And it's one of my favorite things to do is to go show him. Like within 24 hours, I can make, you know, I think the most I've made in 24 hours. I know it's not much. You and I both have audience members sometimes that make more money than we do, you know, and I have celebrity friends. But for what it is, from being at a point where I couldn't afford $8 burrito, $1.08 burrito from El Pollo Loco to what I'm about to say, which is in 24 hours, the most I've made was $12,500 in 24 hours. And when I went and I showed him the money on the PayPal, I said, "This is 24 hours, Dad." Should have seen his face.
Yeah.
That's just one of the greatest feelings, you know.
That's awesome, man. And what's funny is you show that to your dad. Mine wasn't in such a pivotal moment, but I did the same thing with the first product that I released. I think I made like $4,000 or $4,500. I was like, "Look, Dad," in one day.
Isn't that great?
Yeah. It's funny too.
What happened?
Yeah, I remember a time when I told myself, "Dude, if I make $5,000 in a month, I'm the man." And now, like, if I don't make that in a day, it's like.
Me too. I remember having 5,000 as a goal, actually.
Yeah.
As a month, in a month. You know, I had worked out. Okay, so if I make 5,000 in a month, I could do this and that, and still be able to buy what I want. I mean, I can't even understand that right now. And I know that that's why I say, in relation, it's relative. One day I will be looking back to what I'm making right now and saying, I was excited that I made 12,000 in 24 hours, and it's going to be a joke.
Right.
It's going to be a joke. You know it is. I know it is for sure. There's no doubt, and I know that day is coming as surely as the sun rises tomorrow. It just has to be.
Right. So one thing I wanted to ask you now, and by the way, there were some details you shared in that story that I hadn't heard, man. Wow, that was really touching, man. And I think when you share that stuff, because that's normally stuff we share intimately with friends, and just hearing that really, it makes me like reminisce, like, dang, look where I came from, look what I did. And it's just, it's not only inspiring, dude, but that really touches me in my soul, because a lot of people don't share that kind of stuff, and we're sharing it openly with each other and on the internet. There's a lot of intimate stuff I've shared about myself on YouTube too, because I adopted that from you. Like, I don't care, put me on. I'm gonna say it how it is. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm not gonna be around the bush. I'm gonna call it as it is. And that itself has liberated me, right? And so many people struggle with that, right? And I obviously learned it from you, and I adopted that. What do you think is the main reason? For example, like you said, some people will even be following you and say, well, I kind of follow you, but I don't like any of your stuff because I don't want people to know. Why do you think I can do it and apply it easily and, quote, break the rules, and the average person struggles so hard with something like that?
Why? I can only guess, because they're so proud to call themselves a 99%. So that would mean you might be the 1%, and so am I. So that's the only guess I have. But when you said that, I don't know, it brought up this thing where if we ever go eat, you'll notice I never look at the menu and I never look at the price. I don't care about the price, and I won't look at the price, and I'll never ask how much it is. Is because during that time I was driving with Electra, still my girlfriend, 11 years, and I went to go get the BRC burrito. It was $1. It was 99 cents, and came to $1.07 or something with tax, and I didn't have money. And I looked at her. She was my girlfriend, and I said, "Can I borrow $1?" And she looked at me, and she's like, "Yeah." And then she didn't have money, so we had to leave the drive-thru because I couldn't afford $1 burrito. And I turned to her and I said, "Please remember this moment, because there will come a day where you will eat anything you want in a restaurant, and when that day comes, you are never to look at the price ever in the menu again." I said, "I promise you on my life this is going to happen." So she knows when we go out, she doesn't look at it anymore, but I would get very upset if she looked at the price. I would say that the price doesn't count in here anymore. I made it what I said I would make it. I won't look at the fucking, what is it going to be? Is there going to be a fucking meal that's going to be $6,000? Because it's not, right? And I can afford $6,000 if I need to. So what's the use of looking at filet mignon being $80? If you want it, get the fucking thing. If you don't want it, don't get it. When you go out, you eat, you drink, that's it. I don't give a fuck. That's because I've been there where $1 was crucial to my survival, and I didn't even have it. She didn't even have it, and she stuck it out, and now she gets to live like a princess. So good for her.
Awesome, man. It's like all those key moments are like a chapter to the story of what is your life.
Milestones, definite milestones. There's so many of them.
Here's a question for you, Arash. I think this will enlighten our audience even more. What would you say are your top 3 traits as a person that have allowed you to overcome obstacles and get to where you're at today in life and continue to push forward?
Intelligence, without a doubt. Goes on top of the fucking list. I admire intelligence more than anything in the fucking world, man. And more as I get older, I see the value in that damn thing. So I know I'm smart. I think I'm very smart, actually, and that has helped me achieve a black belt under a man who never gave out a black belt before me. I wasn't his fastest student or the strongest student. I wasn't the best technical student, but I sure as fuck was the smartest student that he ever had. I studied the mystery method also. Like, who knows how many people have studied the mystery method? And I became an expert at the mystery method. Not only that, I was able to use the mystery method in all aspects of life because of my intelligence. And everywhere I look, I see that my ability to rationalize, strategize, and take a look at subjects and break them down might be my highest ability, and I love that about myself. I will figure out the answer somehow. So that's what I know. I think that's key. Any other qualities is I really don't like to be picked on. Like, this is an issue for me. So whereas somebody else under pressure, where they feel being bullied or being attacked, might shrink, I have an opposite reaction to it. In fact, the more that I feel I'm being harassed, or the more I'm being bullied, and the more force exists, the more I seem to become stronger, if there's any other word. I will not back down. Like, I may back down if it's light, but the stronger that it gets, the opposition, the more I feel like, okay, I am not going to back down from you. So one of my images is I'm standing there and a giant tsunami is washing me over to kill me. And it's the last moments of my life. You know, I always tell Electra this, and we both decided this, that in the final moment, if that moment ever arrives when you know you're dying, that is the moment to face life 100% certain and say, okay, bring it. You're not going to see fear in my eyes in the last second. So I am afraid of being afraid. I hate being afraid. There's been so many times that I've been under pressure, even recent times, more than ever. And I've been trying to figure out a way, and I've been kind of doing this, doing that. And then suddenly the threat level increased dramatically. And then it became real to me. And at that moment, I was calm, I was strong. Not only that, I was fearless, and I have a desire to mercilessly destroy that thing that wants to destroy me. And I really think that's my strength. That's why I'm wealthy, because being broke was destroying me. That's why I can get so many women in my life, because not having women was actually destroying me. That's why I can fight, because I wasn't ever strong enough and I was bullied all the time, and that was destroying me and my spirit, who I am. And so the intelligence combined with this idea that I won't be pushed around by nobody. And then finally, the third one is really one I saw in Manu. I truly believe that my life is mine. And that is not a little thing at all. That's one of the biggest ideals I think a person could take on. I don't think anybody else has a right to my life besides myself. I just don't, man. I can't be convinced that another being somewhere, anywhere, whether it's in the sky or in the dirt or here around me, has the authority of choice and decision over me. Nope. I hold total 100% sovereignty of my choices. And put that with intelligence, and put that with the idea of I'm not going to back down if I'm under attack, and I'll rise to the challenge, I think are three of my highest qualities. Intelligence being first, because sometimes you have to back down if you're not going to win.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's not like I'm just an idiot. No. I pick my battles carefully. And I dismantle my enemy no matter how big it is, because I know everybody has a weakness, and I can find it.
Awesome, man. You know, I love what you said there at the end, and it really struck a chord in me when you said, I am the authority in my life and I have authority over it. Because one example of a belief that I had even when I was younger was, you know, I always was like, okay, I'm not going to get married. I had made that decision when I was younger. I looked at it and I was like, I don't know what it is, man. Like, this thing just doesn't make sense to me. Mm-hmm. And I remember being ridiculed for it, and people telling me I was crazy and giving you the same bullshit, like, oh, you just haven't met the right girl and all that crap. And then I remember watching a video that you posted on YouTube, and the way you spoke about it, I was like, finally, yes, I'm not the only one. But you were the only person who voiced it in a way like that third trait you just said, like, you're the authority figure. It's like, no, it is. Like, no. And here's the key. Everything you teach, man, your philosophies are backed up with facts. Mm-hmm. That is
intelligence. Remember, I said intelligence is key here.
Yes, and that is beautiful. And so many people miss that. because you could be debated against with anything, and I know you're going to cream them. You know,
Ready?
when I watched the free videos, I was like, wow, this guy, you know, great speaker and extremely intelligent, but this is all facts, man. Like you can't argue this. And I was like, wow, that's really what clicked with me, because, you know, when I was looking at other people and watching them, I would literally tell myself, this guy's dumb. When I would watch other people speak, I was like, this guy's an idiot. And you were really the first one who captured my attention like that. And I think it's, to this day, it's you and maybe like 3 or 4 other speakers that I can actually watch and be focused and attentive, not distracted, and really just dial in and really listen to what you're saying and really connect on that level. Because I don't know what it is. Maybe it's whatever it can be, but you're one of like a handful of people I know that I can like listen to for 2 hours and be like, okay, no phone, nothing, paying attention.
Yeah.
And I love that about you, man. So I wanted to bring, of course, one of the most controversial topics up about pickup and seduction, because that's something that I obviously openly voice that I use, have gotten good at, use in business, use with my girlfriend, use to get more girls. And I actually made a video about it on YouTube, I want to say 2 or 3 months ago, publicly saying that I'm a pickup artist. And it was funny, the reactions I was getting. But I know that is one of the main reasons you attribute to success in your life. And I wanted to have you enlighten the audience a little bit about the power of it, how you started with it, and really how beautiful of a science it is. Because people, when they hear pickup artists, they think a bum, a loser, and somebody who doesn't make money, unsuccessful, and basically the opposite of what we represent.
Absolutely. I just wrote a status. I like to read it. This will explain, and I'll go into it. I just wrote this about 2 hours ago, or an hour ago. I'm a master pickup artist and a master of the arts of seduction, amongst many other professional titles that I hold in my current lifetime. There are only 2 groups of people who resist and try to degrade and talk down about this beautiful and intricate and vital art and science that every man and woman on this planet desperately needs, especially at this time. First category is the female who has been manipulating men by using feminist terminology and feminist bullying tactics to acquire resources from the other sex and to systematically get rid of her competition, the pretty and physically attractive female. She naturally tries to attack this art and science and yet fails miserably, because our seduction techniques and our pickup skills are not going to be used on her in the first place, since we can see her negativity and lack of life and her misery from miles away. And men with these skills have a choice, unlike other men who hope to get lucky, in quotes. That's the first type. Second type, the white knight. This is a technical term. This is the guy who no other man respects and who's going around defending women, in quotes, defending them, in the hopes that they pat him on the head like the good little puppy that he is. And he is always secretly envious of men with pickup and seduction skills. And deep inside, every one of the white knights is a dirty little pervert who's not true to their own male nature and who is a sad, sad little boy. I have used my skills in the pickup and seduction arts to create some of the most fulfilling relationships with women, and I've used the same skills to create and operate 5 successful businesses. This post is to shed some light on a subject that has been attacked by the feminist Nazis and the perverted white knights, and I am living proof that their weak little chihuahua barks do nothing but bring attention to their own powerlessness. Game on, player. Arash Dibazar. What's up with the pickup arts? If you went and you tried to shame any of God's creatures, from the lion to the insect, bird, fish, scorpion, anywhere, and you went to one of its male species and you try to tell it, don't show your feathers, don't caw so loud, don't pound your chest, don't build that nest, who cares? I mean, why do you have to manipulate the woman? I mean, all of that would just be bogus. The Book of Life doesn't recognize that level of stupidity of trying to tell another man how to mate with a female. First is that. Second, the female, oh, this is great. This is great. The female is a master at manipulating. By nature, she has to, because physically, nature, evolution, God did not make her physically as strong as the man. Of course, there are some exceptions, but again, those women are not being mated with as the supreme gods of women, you know, goddesses. Like, nobody wants a chick that's super buff and can kick your ass and has more testosterone than you. Some men do. They're the rarity. Overall, life would not continue if that was the female. So The female by nature is not as strong, so she has to have a way to defend herself against a stronger man. And that way is to manipulate him mentally and emotionally. So women are incredible at the art of seduction naturally. For example, a girl of 17 years old. 17 is not a legal age in the United States. You have to be 18 to be considered legally as a female adult, sexually. But a woman of 17 or even 16 who has a beautiful body and looks mature, by the time she becomes 18 and 20, she has been approached so many times by men who have tried to be nice to her and hit on her. She has understood that she could probably get better grades in school if she smiles at her teacher and gets away with it. Her life consists of manipulating those around her using her beauty, which is not a negative thing. See, they say that as if it's a negative thing. It's not negative. It's her nature. It's what God gave her. She's beautiful. The man, on the other hand, doesn't have that. So by the time he's 16, 17, he's a complete dork. A few of them play football and they do good, but the rest are just a bunch of fucking idiots. And so socially, he's a complete idiot. So I'm upset right now. My phone freezes randomly. Blah. I can't even talk. So that's that girl. So long story short, when we talk about pickup and seduction arts, we are talking about the science of attracting the opposite sex, overcoming all obstacles, which is your same sex. Like if you and I are going to go talk to a beautiful woman as we did over the weekend, we're not the only guys trying to talk to her. And she has a selection of every guy. So what psychological techniques, what body language, what internal frames of mind, and what external presentation and communication must we congruently, meaning they all have to go together, integrated. It can't be like kind of good here. How much of that must we have in order to have a woman of pure beauty that every man wants to talk to, who normally has a husband or a boyfriend because she's that beautiful, or definitely has a group of guys hanging around her who want to, have sex with her but are too afraid to talk about it? How do we entice? Because we're not raping. That's the difference. How do we entice her where she becomes attracted? She starts to feel attraction. And she then not only feels attraction, she wants to know you. She wants to take her time the next day and go out of her way, out of her life to spend time in your life. She wants to take hours to be around you. Her own willingness. No one's clubbing her. She wants to do it. She can go anywhere. She wants to come around you. Then she wants to keep being around you. Then her attraction grows so much that she wants to, get this, she wants to sexually experience you and her together. She wants to join with you. She wants to submit herself. She wants to have sex with you. Now, any fool who tries to tell me that that is an easy thing to do with a beautiful woman, the kind of woman that we get, is a fool, okay? It takes so much understanding of oneself, of her friends, of your friends, of society, of everything to bring about this outcome I just said. Now you tell me if I can do this, which I can do it like this, you don't think I can sell a gym membership? Are you kidding me? I can take a woman who's a stranger in a room full of men and women and systematically make it so in 2 days, 3 days, she's texting me, we're hanging out, and in a couple of weeks, we're having sex, and then she's my girlfriend. You want me to sell a gym membership? Can we get a little bit fucking more creative here? You want me to sell a car, a computer? Don't they already walk in wanting that? Doesn't somebody walk into a gym wanting to buy a fucking gym membership? You're in real estate. Doesn't somebody like call a realtor because they want a fucking house? It's not just like you walk up and throw a house in people's face. That's something people go seeking out. You're telling me you can't sell a fucking house to a person who's looking for a fucking house? Like, how retarded are you and how many things have you done wrong? And how could you benefit from knowing what we know? That we could overcome all obstacles, all barriers, and then, and in my case, where I took the game, have these deep relationships for years. 11 years with Electra, 7.5 years with Hannah. It was 6.5 years with Serena, 7 years with Felicia, this is my ex-girlfriends, and my new girlfriend, just 7 months now, and they're so deeply in love and so fulfilled. How do you fulfill another human being? The woman's nature is to be unfulfilled. The woman's nature is to look around all the time, and a woman is a negative individual. You have to be strong enough to withstand all of that negativity and raise her up from that. You're going to put down this science and this art. You, my friend, are a hater and a fool, and you can continue to do that, but beware. If you have a woman around you and I'm in that environment, if I want her, there's nothing you can do about it. And I wonder how that makes you feel, knowing that she will willingly leave you and come to me, because that is what's going to happen. So hate on it all day, but know that you're dealing with the Jedi and the Sith. And this force is here, but you have to earn it. God damn. Let's take that section and put it in one of these pickup groups.
Love it, man. Oh man, I just love listening to you talk, man. So I think that's great, dude. Because I don't want to make this thing too long. I wanted to give you, maybe a minute or two. If you want to have any ending statements or promote any new products you have coming out, go ahead, man. But if anybody wants to get in contact, what would be the best way? Do you want them to check out your YouTube? How do you want them to do it?
Well, I mean, my YouTube is Arash Dibazar. You should go subscribe to that. I only have like 5,000 or 6,000 followers, but I should have like 6 million. I don't know how that works, but that's where I'm at. ArashZepar.com, Z-E-P-A-R, ARASHZEPAR.com. My program is Diamond Mind. It's $97 a month. It is just unreal. Today, for example, I gave 4 techniques from looking at someone's shoes to their eyes, reading their eyes, to your gut feeling, to asking them a question about their friends. You add all of this together and you can pull their values right out of them. And when you know a person's values, you can sell them anything. Okay? So that's today's video that's going to be put up. It's Diamond Mind. I have a lot of products. I continue to do it. Keep up with me on Facebook. I don't know what the fuck it is, honestly. There's a bunch of fake ones. Go through Bryan. If you're already following we're always connected. We're always doing each other's events and stuff. So that's how you find me. And I would highly recommend my Diamond Mind program. Okay. And if it's my final minutes, I would really want to thank you. I truly appreciate it. When I count my friends and I count my allies, you're definitely one of them. You are the Spartan, and you're ruling your own area of the world. You have your own country. You have this. My mind thinks like this. You have your own country. You have your own people. You have your own tribe that are very strong, and it's like what they have with United Nations, I feel I have in my life. That's what IMC Nation is to me. And in IMC Nation, which is a worldwide movement, there are the top guys, like the panel, like the movers and shakers of IMC Nation, who have their own countries under it, and you're one of them. So thank you very much for that.
Of course, man. Always a pleasure and an honor, man. And I look forward to seeing you soon. I know we have the event April 15th, right? Prometheus?
San Jose. I'll see you for sure.
That's going to be awesome. All right, man. Thanks again.
Okay, brother. Talk soon. Bye-bye.